Hi everyone, this is Lynn Wilson at Lynn Wilson Originals, and I'm going to start to try to come on live every Monday at 11 o'clock. Today I had some technical difficulties, so I'm not quite getting on at 11, but pretty close. And what I'd like to talk about today is this piece right here, which I have completed. You can see it's, let me see if I can adjust this so you can see a little bit better. There we go. This is a small bookcase. I think it would be suitable for maybe a kid's room or a kitchen or even a bathroom to stack up towels and toiletries. And if you caught my live, it was about a week ago, I primed this piece and then I had to wait for my paint to come in. And the paint that I used was Dixie Belle Lemonade. It's a really soft, pretty yellow. And I selected that color because this transfer that I wanted to use has some yellow undertones in it. This is from Redesign with Prima, and it is Tropical Paradise. So I got my piece painted, got the transfer on, and I sort of felt like it was missing something. And when I first started chalk painting, I was super happy if I could get a piece painted and get a transfer on. But at this point, I kind of want to make it look unique or have sort of my flair. And so I wanted to do something, but I wasn't quite sure. I love black and gold, and I also have been doing a lot of research recently into different decor styles and discovered something called British Colonial. And it incorporates British elements, traditional dark woods and antiques with more tropical decor, such as palms. So one of those elements that you see is black and gold. And so I have painted these pieces and then down at the bottom here in Dixie Belle's Caviar. And I really wanted it to shine, almost like lacquer. And usually my go-to top coats are Dixie Belle's Clear Coat in Satin, which I'm going to demonstrate today, and also their Best Dang Wax. But because I wanted that shine, I opted for this Minwax Poly. It's one coat, and it says semi-gloss, but I think it's quite glossy. So I painted the outline here, the details, in Modern Masters, and this is their Olympic Gold. I like this gold from Modern Masters because it's opaque. It only takes like one or two coats. And the problem, and this piece is a story about solving problems as you discover them when you paint. The problem was it was really rough and it just looked messy to me. So then I needed, if it was going to be kind of uneven, then I needed to really make it look uneven, like it was intentional. So I added some shinier wax on top, and this is the antique gold gilding wax from the Chippy Barn. And I like it because it has almost like a black, let's see if you can see, it has kind of black in it. So I knew it would tie in to my corner pieces. And then to get a little bit more black in here, I used Dixie Belle's Best Dang Wax in black. So this is what it looks like. You can get it in smaller containers. It's going to take me forever to use this 10 ounce. You can buy it in 4 ounce. And I'll put a link in the comments to my Dixie Belle affiliate where you can find these products. And the way I got into these grooves was using this little teeny tiny brush. And yeah, I don't wash it, it's pretty dirty, but I could get my brush right in here and get it in the groove. Now, before I did either the gilding wax or the black wax, I did use the Minwax Poly because I did want this to have that same kind of shine as these pieces. And it's very difficult to remove wax from chalk paint if you haven't sealed it first. Because the chalk paint is so porous, the wax just sucks in. And if you make a mistake, or maybe I got more black than I wanted to be able to wipe it off. So those were the steps up until this point. And now I'm ready to seal the piece. the rest of the piece. I like, oh, here they are. I use a really light grit sandpaper, like 220. I like sponges. This one is from Surf Prep. It says very fine. And this I got from Dixie Belle, but you can get these as well off of Amazon. And you just want to kind of lightly sand. Yeah, I'm not trying to distress to reveal wood, but the chalk paint, because like I said, it's porous, it has sort of a rough texture. And a lot of times what people do when they want to buy a piece of furniture, they walk up and touch it. So I want to make it smooth. And I like, because it has a sponge, I can kind of maybe just add a little bit of water and try to get that dust off. Now, this transfer, when I talked about trying to fix your own mistakes or fix problems, when I put it on, there were pieces that ripped and didn't stick. So what I did was then I would cut out other leaves. You can layer these transfers. And so where I had problems, I would just cut out and layer another piece on top. So that's something to keep in mind, that these can be layered. I like to seal my transfers with the satin clear coat. Again, this is Dixie Belle's clear satin, and I'm going to start by sealing the transfers because I'm going to use the satin just straight, and then I'm going to seal the rest of my piece, because one of the things I do to help eliminate brush strokes, because there's nothing more frustrating. When I first started painting, I hated sealing, because I'd put my clear coat on and I saw streaks everywhere. And so I started just using wax, but I like the water resistance of this product. So one of the tricks that I've learned is to put a little bit of my paint, mix a little bit of my paint in with my clear coat when I'm doing broad surfaces like these shelves or like a tabletop, and that helps also to prevent brush strokes. The other thing that I use are these little sponges from Dixie Belle. They call them their Gator hide sponges, and Gator hide is just another top coat that they have, which is waterproof. This is water resistant, but it has really tiny pores, and it works much better than a brush or some other sponges that I've tried, because it goes on so smoothly. So I've got my clear coat, and usually I stir this, but I'm just going to shake it right now. And I also put it into another container so that I don't contaminate the clear coat. As you can see, it's pretty thick. And so I'm going to mist my sponge. You don't want it soaking wet, just kind of damp. And I'm going to go ahead and seal my transfers. So I just put about this much on. And with the sponge, you can kind of squeeze it to get up into those corners. And I try to just do long, smooth strokes. And then I try to get the light shining on it so that I can see where I missed. And this has a fairly long open time compared to other top coats. You can go back and go over it. Like the poly that I used on here, once it's on, you really can't go back over it without seeing brush strokes. And I usually do at least 2 coats, so anything that I've missed on the first coat, I pick up on the second coat. Down here, it might be out of the frame, but there I didn't get my transfer all the way to the bottom, so this is another example. I cut a leaf and put it down to the bottom. So now that I have my transfer sealed, I'm going to add a little bit of the lemonade. And I just estimate maybe like a little spoonful. Now you do want to be careful. I did a piece, it's a mid-century modern piece, and I spent a long time doing geometric shapes, and need something to stir this. And this is why I love going to Chinese restaurants. Anybody asks me, where do you want to go? I'm like, Chinese, because I get my stir sticks. So I was doing this mid-century modern piece, and I spent a long time putting detailed geometrics in there that were different colors than the base. The whole base was gray, and I thought, there's not that much tint to this. You know, I'll just go over my other colors with the top coat. Oh my gosh, what a mistake. Yeah, there was enough tint, and then I had to repaint all those geometrics because my other colors were got colored gray. So you can see it's got a little bit of color. And I'm going to make sure that I avoid my transfer. And I will do the undersides of the shelves as well, just because I want them to have the same level of sheen as the bottom of the shelves. And so obviously I don't have to go over the black or the border because I sealed that with the shiny poly. And if I have leftovers, you know, of this mixture, I'll put it in my refrigerator, and I'll put this in the refrigerator with saran wrap, so that I can come back and do the second coat and it's not wasted. But you can see all of my projects at my Instagram account, Lynn Wilson Originals. And I love talking to people about planning pieces and colors. So feel free to send me a message if you want to talk about a project you're working on. And if you're local, I also do classes. So you can pick whichever topic you're most interested in. Maybe you want to learn transfers. Maybe you want to perfect your top coating. Maybe you want to try blending. Whatever you'd like, really. It's a private class. What about this much on my sponge? And I actually find it gets easier once you've been doing it for a little while because your sponge absorbs some paint. It just seems to slide on, to glide easier. I think the hardest pieces to top coat are large tabletops, dresser tops. This one's fairly easy to get one full swipe through. And at one point I thought I would try to dry brush coffee bean or caviar around the edges, and it just looked too messy, so I had to go back and paint over that. And a lot of times people say, oh, you know, it's just paint. But if you're painting a light color, if you have a light piece and then you put a dark color over it, you know, it took me several coats to get my yellow back. And I can see there's a couple little hairs in here, which is because I have my pets love to come down and help me. What I'll do, rather than try to pick it out now, I'll let it dry and then I'll lightly sand at that spot before I do my second coat. So, I think that I've covered all of the areas here, and I am going to put a little bit more of this gilding wax on here because I want a little more shine. So I just use my finger and run over the high points. And again, I've sealed this with the poly, so if I don't like it, I can wipe it off. That's just, it's a little bit of a brighter gold than the paint, than the Modern Masters paint. Yeah, I'm liking the way that just perks it up a little bit. And this is also going on so easy and smooth because it is sealed. And this doesn't have to be super precise. That's one of the things I like about restoring vintage pieces is people do expect there to be, you know, some age, some wear. And like I said, if you don't like it, you can wipe it off. So this piece I'm going to have available for sale. I'm going to put it in my Etsy shop. I just started an Etsy shop. It's Lynn Wilson Originals. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would love it if you would. So that's it. And again, if you found this helpful, I'd love it if you could share it with your friends. And if you have any questions, please feel free to send me a message, Lynn at Lynn Wilson Originals. Thanks a lot. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.